I'll conduct a 20 minutes, let's say, workshop about the topic I'm deeply interested in, so the psychology of happiness. As I said at the beginning, it's something that we all strive for happiness, for peace in life. Yet our minds were being created like that in today's world, in modern world, they are not accustomed to the fast-paced living and many other stuff that makes us live a more suffering life. And knowing the mechanics of it is very, very important in order to feel better and have better life. So how I actually thought about doing this workshop and why I even got interested onto this topic. Well, of course, like everyone else, I had a bit worse moment in my life, a bit of an existential crisis where I didn't know what the heck was going on and I felt completely lost. So I did the only proper thing that a young guy like me can do. I asked, oh, sorry. No way. Oh, you will see. I asked AI what it thinks about it. Okay, let's continue. AI doesn't want to show itself. I understand that.
It's embarrassed. Maybe it's shy.
Yeah, it's shy. Yeah. And I especially prompted it to tell me about my situation. I'm not saying if that is a good thing to do or not. It was just a good tool for me to analyze my situation and understand myself more, where I prompted it to analyze my situation with the psychological terms and scientific research so I can understand the mechanics much more better. And the thing is that this laptop don't work. So yeah, I will have existential crisis after this meeting for sure. Either less, what is the main thing here I want you to share, the main idea, the main frame we'll get into this workshop is that happiness is often not about adding more into our lives, searching for some sense of life or finding this right thing that makes us live better. But it's actually a subtraction, like removing the things that makes us suffer or understand how we operate so we can prevent some things that makes us feel much, much worse. And as you see, in my opinion, the happiness is more defined as low inner conflict, realistic self-image, a sense of agency, and other things. So it's not about having like amazing life, because as we are young, we create this vision of ourselves that we have to be somebody in life. We have to achieve something, or we attach easily to some labels we put on ourselves that we are this or this or this. But like the way of living a more peaceful life is actually to ground yourself in reality and understand your limitation and knowing yourself more with less this inner conflict. And the first thing I would like you to understand is a self-discrepancy theory. This theory talks about three ways of perceiving yourself. So there is the actual self. So who you are right now, how you perceive yourself right now, what you do, what are your characteristic traits, and so on and so on. Then we have the ideal self, who you wish to become, who you wish to be, what you want. And the odd self, who you think you should be. It's often correlated to the societal pressure, the family pressure, or friends pressure, or even your own creations of who you should be. And the self-discrepancy is the mismatch between those two or between those three, where it doesn't match. Like, I will give you it with my own example. I watched a lot of successful people during my younger age, and I created this enormous vision of of my ideal self, of who I want to become, like my dream life, that I want to be like those persons, or even I should be like those people. But the reality was that I actually was a young guy who, during that period of time of this existential crisis, let's say, was jobless, just quitted his own company, and his identity of self was shaken, and I didn't know where I'm going. I was completely lost. And this ideal version of who I want to be and the actual self, like, created this inner conflict that created enormous pressure inside me, enormous tension. And the moment I found some relief, the moment I found some kind of redemption, was actually where I rejected this vision of who I want to be, the ideal self. Even though it sounds maybe not good, like rejecting, because all of us think that dreams are important, ambitions are important, and so on. However, they often restricts us, makes us suffer, and therefore actually preventing us from achieving those things. And when I rejected them for the first time, I feel somewhat more grounded in my actual self, of who I am. I found happiness in daily things, daily stuff I do, and it was really, really helpful. I didn't fix all self back then. So the pressure family, for example, put on me and so on. But it was a huge breakthrough for me by just removing those expectations of my life. And I will show later how we can also use it. So wherever you are, whoever you are, you can actually think about your constructs. What are your expectations of life? Who you think you should be, or who you want to be, and instead of it helping you, it actually restricts you. And that's it. So this is self-discrepancy. Now, I would like to talk a few of the most important things I learned from the book of The Art of the Good Life by Rolf Dobelli. When he talks about like 52 useful mental tools or things you might do in life to just have better, more peaceful and happy life. And the first thing he talks about is actually the illusion of changing the world. So the great man theory. We all learn in schools about great people, Einstein or maybe Tesla, or we watch on social media those successful people and we look up to them. It's natural, it's what our minds do. Yet, in the reality, all of this happened on randomness, right? By randomness. If, for example, Apple wouldn't be created, Jobs wouldn't create Apple, wouldn't share this idea, someone else would be inside his place sharing this, and he would get all of this prize we give to him. Or if, I don't know, that someone wouldn't invent some invention, some machine, then someone else would do that. So what I mean by that, to sum it up, is that randomness has much more control on our life than we think. Therefore, in order to feel more at peace, it's good to just take your hands from the wheel and relax, watch the side views, but do not try to hold your life and control your life so much, because you will get stressed and will suffer more. This is it. The next thing is about managing expectation. This is what I said. So the lower our expectations, the greater our sense of happiness. Because what expectations are really are is just a way of human minds to attach to some things, expect some things. So because our minds sees pattern in everything. But expectations most of the time hurts us. We expect that this person will tell us something, but this person does not tell, like, for example, gives us any warmth, like, or any praise. And we are frustrated because our mind attached to this idea that this person would give us this praise, but we didn't get it. Without this expectation, we don't suffer. The same thing with our bigger expectations of whether we should be successful or not, whether we will achieve something or not in our lives. All of those are attachments. And without those, without any expectations, like trying to mentally frame and lessen those expectations, we can actually live much more peaceful life, because everything will, like, we won't expect anything to happen. Therefore, everything will be like an addition, and we'll be able to be much more grateful about that. And the last thing I took was small meaning of life. And I don't mean here like that the life don't have any sense. I'm meaning that we think too much about the big sense of life, who we should be, whether what we do is important or not, what career we should follow, all of those stuffs that create pressure and holds us back. But the small meaning of life, we think too less about it. The small meaning, so why we wake up every day, what we like doing every day, spending time with family, or even following some goal, but not too distant to create something amazing, big, and so on, but maybe something much more smaller, like finishing some project in a job and enjoying it, actually enjoying it, or cleaning out our home, our house, and feeling good about this and finding this peace inside. Because if we think about the big meaning of life, then the life doesn't have any meaning. It's just a randomness of evolution, randomness of everything, and we should die. So yeah, those were the things. And right now, I would like you to discuss between each other in groups of 2 or 3 people, however you think, what makes your life genuinely more happy or peaceful? Like, what are your ways to feel better in life, more peaceful? And how, like, what ideas you have, maybe what things you do, or how you think in order to feel much better. And after a few minutes, I would like a few people to share their ideas, because I'm interested in what you think. So right now, please gather yourself into 2 or 3 people groups and talk between each other about what makes you more peaceful and happy. Please start.